Back in from Perry, a chance on there for Winters. Robbie Winters gives United a lifeline.
A defeat which left United isolated at the foot and needing Falkirk to do them a favour by beating Aberdeen at Brockville today. Hearts needed to avoid defeat by Motherwell to steer clear of the dreaded playoff. So United staring relegation in the face and missing several important players too, as Jock Brown describes.
Dundee United manager Billy Kirkwood faces the same suspension problems as last week. Out are Dave Bowman, Billy McKinlay, Brian Welsh and Gordon Petrich. Key men all. Last week's substitutes Andy McLaren and goal scorer Robbie Winters are on from the start, with Scott Crabb and Sergio on the bench. And there's a huge responsibility on the skipper Maurice Malpas. He played a major role in the club's success of the 80s, including that championship win in 1983. Producing form which earned him 55 caps. Now approaching his 33rd birthday, this is a crunch match of a totally different kind. Celtic have lost midweek goal scorer Willie Faulkner through suspension. Andy Walker, Brian O'Neill and Simon Donnelly are unfit, but John Collins returns to midfield after his chest infection, with Phil O'Donnell remaining in the starting lineup. And making his top team debut is centre-half Malky Mackay, signed 2 years ago from Queen's Park. Now 23, his progress at Celtic has been hampered by injury, but he is highly rated and this is his big opportunity. And for a crunch match, a very experienced referee, Mr. Andrew Waddle from Edinburgh. From a Dundee United point of view, it's a terrible way to have a near capacity crowd for the last match of the season, but nothing less than victory will do. There's the anxiety showing there as Johnson and Malpas go for the same ball. So the start for United absolutely crucial, and they can expect no favours at all from Celtic. Still trying to retain form for the cup final in a fortnight's time. Good challenge made by Boyd on Winters, a very important one. Still United keeping up the pressure. This is McLaren. And the first time effort attempted by Johnson. Well, the midfield players getting forward very quickly there. Grant Johnson supporting the attack to get into the box for the shot at goal. The ball hooked across there, Johnson arriving at pace. McKinlay to O'Donnell. McLaughlin. Tackled strongly there by McInally. Celtic's throw again. And Jim McInally did just enough there to help that on to O'Hanlon. That's Collins. Big stay. Collins again. McInally. Eased out of that by Van Hooijdonk. He's away from Daly. That's for McLaughlin. And still no conviction at all about the finishing. Very well worked move that by Pierre Van Hooijdonk to give McLaughlin the shooting chance. Well, it's on his weaker side, the right, but there's just no authority shown there at all. Christian Daly at full stretch there. This is Malpas. Now McLaren. Good defending by McKinlay. Get very close to his man there to make life very difficult for him. McLaren battling back well. Time here for Malpas. Stay very determined indeed. And was he fouled? Well, David Hanna seemed to catch him in the act of shooting right at the edge of the penalty area. The Celtic supporters certainly thought that should have been a penalty kick. Referee Waddle appeared to be somewhat unsighted there. A lot of players between him and the incident. We'll see it here. Won well by Paul McStay. He goes charging forward here now, setting himself for a shot at goal. It certainly appeared to be caught right on the line by Hanna. Here's Peter Grant striding out of midfield. He has McLaughlin to his left. And brought down there by Jim McInally. A rueful smile and an apology offered to McLaughlin in the passing. So the free kick to Celtic. Tosh McKinlay over the ball. Mackay is joined by Hoydonk again, and O'Donnell in the box. They all carry a threat here. Daly did well defensively. McLaughlin to Van Hooijdonk, back to McLaughlin. Now smiling there towards the Dundee United supporters behind the goal. A lovely move that. Van Hooijdonk's touch was delightful into the path of McLaughlin. Good strong header away by Christian Daly. It was returned by McLaughlin. Look at this layoff, delightful. And then Ryan McLaughlin again struggling with the final shot. That's McStay. Good dummy. Now Vata. Peter Grant available again in the centre of midfield. Taken late by McInally. Jim McInally living dangerously here. He's been involved in a number of fouls. And the referee Waddle has told him, I think, that's the last. An awkward one that for Grant. He may be in some distress here. Seemed to buckle badly going down. Well, a moment of real anxiety this for Peter Grant with the cup final 2 weeks away. Stuart Gray is coming on. Celtic supporters not happy with Dundee United, but giving Peter Grant a terrific ovation as he is carried off. Remains one of the saddest sights in the game. Tommy Burns goes across to investigate. So the difference being made by Celtic is to put John Collins into the central role, vacated by Grant in midfield. Here's Brewster. That was close. First real chance at goal for Brewster in the match. Well, they're still tinkering there as Brewster sends that over the top corner. Celtic tinkering with the team. McLaughlin to Van Hooijdonk. This is Gray. Collins. Foul from the rear by Perry. Well, the game being punctuated by a series of fouls. Mostly, it has to be said, committed by Dundee United players. I suppose that reflects their desperate position in the league. Van Hooijdonk from a long way out. It's fully 30 yards. A great effort. Relief for O'Hanlon as that goes whistling wide. What a good free kick it is. Over the wall, swerving and dipping. A great effort by Van Hooijdonk. Brewster helps it on. Here's Winters, is very quick. Still in possession. He had support inside from Brewster, didn't see him. Has to settle there for a corner. Well, Craig Brewster in the middle, holding his head in his hands, because had he been spotted by Robbie Winters early in the move, he was all on his own. We'll see this here. There's Winters now holding off two defenders, Mackay and Vata. You see Brewster appearing in the middle there. Barely enough time, I suspect, for another attack to be built up. The referee looks at the linesman and I think is satisfied that the first half could come to an end after 4 minutes of stoppage time. So an undistinguished first half. The tension has guaranteed that, and some very heavy tackling by Dundee United. Very few goal-scoring opportunities, and Dundee United still with a match to try to win. At half-time, Dundee United 0, Celtic 0. So a vital 45-minute period coming up for Dundee United, and they made a change for the second half. They've got on Scott Crabb wearing number 12, and he replaces Andy McLaren, who had a thin time of things in the first half against Tosh McKinlay. So Crabb for McLaren for the second half. Now the news from the dressing room about Peter Grant is that he had a damaged knee, which does not require hospital treatment right now, although that may happen in Glasgow when he goes back home with the team after the match. So still some concern about him. Here's Winters. That's a great effort, brilliantly saved by Bonner. Great reflexes by Pat Bonner. Well, the work done there by Brewster with head flick on. There was Winters making space for himself for the volley. Great save from Bonner. Now Crabb with a corner. Bonner again, fisting the ball to safety. That's Johnson to McInally. Looking for Crabb again. Attempting to keep the ball in play, couldn't quite make that. Former Hearts player. Well, anxious moments there on the United bench. Billy Kirkwood on the left of the picture, Gordon Wallace on the right. Well, the Celtic supporters clearly in good hearts, despite not being able to get into a lead here. And looking forward, of course, to the cup final in a fortnight. McInally helping it on. Boyd is first to the ball. Boyd again. Daly under pressure from Van Hooijdonk. Here's McLaughlin once more. Can he make it this time? No, it won't run for McLaughlin. Well, he gets a hug from one of the supporters behind the goal. An error by Christian Daly. McLaughlin driving in the post. He'd kept his head well. Look as though he may have the composure. It's a good save by O'Hanlon. That's great. Possession play by Celtic. Quite happy to keep the ball here. But it does spell complete disaster for United. There's McKinley again. Now McLaughlin. McKinley supporting. Collins always available on the touchline. A chance for Van Hooijdonk. Well, a chance of the match without question. Delightful build-up play from Celtic. Pierre Van Hooijdonk really had the chance to bury this. John Collins doing some marvellous work coming into the left. And that delightful chip beat David Craig. There was Van Hooijdonk steadied for the shot, which skimmed the bar. That could have been the end for Dundee United. Handball there by Mackay. Here's Scott Crabb. Sergio reacting, it's off the crossbar. Well, hands to go to heads among the United players. They can't believe that. Sergio can't believe it. He was sure he'd scored. Return by Scott Crabb. Reaction there from Sergio was swift to lift the ball over Bonner and off the bar. Quarter of an hour of the match remaining. And perhaps quarter of an hour of Dundee United's Premier Division life. Here's Van Hooijdonk. And a chance for O'Donnell. This could finish it. Magnificent finishing by O'Donnell. And surely now it's all over for Dundee United. Well, terrible error in the end here as Van Hooijdonk had possession. David Craig intercepted, then goes to a terrible Fankel, robbed by Phil O'Donnell, and that was top-class finishing. Well, for Phil O'Donnell, it's goal number 7 of the season since he signed for Celtic. Well, fine play by O'Donnell. Billy Kirkwood now, I think, realises relegation is inevitable. David Craig's header. That was Vata. Daly to Hannah. Lever Winters needing support in the middle. It gets it from Sergio. What a chance that was for Sergio. Well, that just about sums up Dundee United season. Great play again from Robbie Winters here as Hannah played the ball across. Robbie Winters played into that very dangerous area. Sergio reacted quickest of all. What a finish it was. Stuart Gray into the gap. Van Hooijdonk is there. This is Bata. Wanted to stop his time here in Dundee United's last match in the Premier Division, at least for a year. So a free kick this time to United. Van Hooijdonk goes down, getting some abuse from the United supporters in the far stand. Compton again. Here's Mark Perry. Can he keep it in play? He's managed that. That's a good ball in. Well, Bonner's certainly in trouble with that one. Well, the referee Andrew Waddle checking with his linesman. Back to McInally. Touched on by Mackay, who can be very pleased with his debut. Now McKinley. The referee checking his watch again. But fully a minute of stoppage time. There can't be much more to go as Malpass comes forward. Bonner under pressure. And it's deflected over the bar by Craig from Hannah's shot. That was truly incredible. Well, that tells you everything about Dundee United's season. Quite amazing this. Bonner drops the ball. A tap in it is for Hannah. It hits David Craig and goes wide. Well, that really is just incredible. Billy Kirkwood, I'm sure, watching there would just have to shake his head in disbelief. The manager cannot legislate for things like that, that's for sure. Some defiant chanting from the Dundee United fans. Another late tackle there. Pierre Van Hooijdonk goes down and Christian Daly's in trouble this time. Jim McInally is there to that, and Daly is ordered off. Wow, what a tragic end to the match and to the season for Dundee United. And the card coming out also. Jim McInally in trouble. That's what that's about. He lifted his hand, Daly. He had no argument there about the decision. And Jim McInally, I suspect, is going to follow him, is he? No. The referee checking with his notes and trying to calm things down, perhaps. But Christian Daly ordered off. What an end to the match. Well, there certainly had been a bit of niggling going on with Van Hooijdonk. Bata plays it in. It's away from Scott Crabb. McKinley returns it. There are some weary players out there now wearing a tangerine of Dundee United. They certainly have been full of commitment and effort this afternoon, but they've had no luck at all, and they've not been able to get any passing going of note. And it's all over now. Dundee United are relegated. Celtic end their league season with a victory. The victory provided by Phil O'Donnell 15 minutes from the end after a bad error from David Craig. David Hannah there in tears as he was off. It's been a tragedy for Dundee United. Celtic playing with composure, well within themselves, and certainly good value for the win. But for Dundee United, it's the end of a miserable season. Players staying on the field, I think, and prepared to go to their supporters for the backing they've had this afternoon. Maurice Malpass is going to take the United players to the supporters
to show their appreciation for the backing, especially this afternoon, but it wasn't enough. Dundee United could make nothing of this match, and when they had scoring opportunities, they were denied by bad finishing, bad luck, and for Maurice Malpass, food for thought as the skipper leaves the field with thoughts for the supporters. But for Dundee United, the inevitable tragedy has happened. The final score at Tannadice, Dundee United 0, Celtic 1.
Really a major disappointment, obviously, but now you've had time to let the dust settle a bit. What are your feelings at this stage?
Well, it was a realisation for myself 4 or 5 weeks ago that it was going to be a major task to keep the club up. I started formulating plans then, whether we stayed up or whether we went down, that we needed some major surgery about the place to get the freshness back and just start afresh again, hopefully build a team to get us out of the First Division and to challenge in the Premier League as well.
What did you find when you came here that led you to that conclusion that things were in such a bad state?
Well, the quality that you're needing to win games, whether it's defending or whether it's up in the attacking third or taking your chances, and that's been the feeling since I've took over 7 games, and I'm led to believe that that was the case for near enough the whole season.
Now you've got a new task to perform here. What backing have you had from inside? What's the board attitude to the state of affairs now?
Well, they're completely behind me. I know that might be the wrong thing to say there, but they are. They're exactly the same thoughts as I've got, that we need better quality players here to get Dundee United back to where they were before.
Now, Dundee United traditionally built on youth. You don't really have so much time for that. Can we expect a few transfers in and out over the close season?
Oh, most definitely, yes.
And will there be a lot of money being available for the purpose?
Yes, most definitely.
It was a very physical game, but I felt our guys competed well in that respect, as they have been doing recently, and we also managed to have wee spells in the game where we played very well.
You made one significant alteration in Brian McLaughlin's role to give him even more freedom. How do you think that worked out?
Very well. I think he's a very, very special, talented wee man, and if he starts to score a goal, then I think he'll become even more special, because he's got so much repertoire to his skills and abilities. Tremendous. He's got a great change of pace. He's got a great awareness, and once he starts to score a goal or two, I think he'll go and become an even better player.
What is the problem, do you think? Obviously you've talked to him about that. What do you think it is?
Well, I think he's suffering from Danny McGrainitis. He had the exact same thing. Once he got inside the penalty box, it's a massive nosebleed. But I think once he scores the first one, I think he'll be a lot more confident going into the box. I think the more he misses, I think he feels he's not going to score. But once he gets the first one, I hope he's saved them for the cup final.
What news of Peter Grant?
Well, unfortunately, at this moment in time, it looks very, very doubtful. He's a quick healer and he's a very, very determined man. It'd be a tragedy if he misses it at the cup final, because he's been our best player easily this season. And I think it'd be the second one he's missed, because he missed the '88 Cup final as well. He's missed the Coca-Cola Cup final this year. So we're hopeful, we'll keep praying and hope that the wee man makes it, because there's nobody deserves it more.
One final question, the league season, your first league season in charge at Celtic, over the piece, are you satisfied?
No, not at all. Not at all. Nowhere near satisfied. And we know that that can never be deemed as acceptable for a club like this to have so many draws and not win as many games as we should have done. But that's something, we know the reasons for that, and that's something that we'll hopefully put right for the start of next season.
So Dundee United relegated for the first time in 63 years. Hearts' 2-0 win over Motherwell guaranteed their Premier survival, while Aberdeen, who were 2-0 winners over Falkirk, now face a home and away play-off with Dunfermline to determine whether they'll still be playing with the big boys next season. Well, the game itself was disappointing, Derek, but Dundee United are down. Dundee, as we know, are now they've missed out on promotion. As a Dundonian yourself, that's obviously a very disappointing state of affairs for the city, isn't it?
Well, they were hoping 5 or 6 weeks ago to play each other in the derby games in the Premier Division. It's going the opposite way now. I think the only thing that can be done in Dundee is just let the pubs open all night and just let them drown their sorrows in the one night. But they've got to get on with it. They know Jim Duffy was a wee bit unlucky with Dundee, and of course Billy Kirkwood's gone there when really Dundee United were destined to go down. So they've a lot of work, I think, to do next season.
It's no consolation, but even a win over Celtic today wouldn't have helped United.
But you've got to concentrate on the game in hand. They had to win that one to have any chance, and they showed a lot of determination. They ran themselves into the ground, but they just lacked that little bit of quality. That was all.
They missed chances, they've had a bit of bad luck as well, which I suppose has been the problem for much of the season, in fact, hasn't it?
Well, they've scored the lowest goals in the league. I mean, they've only scored 40 goals, and I mean, this is unlucky here. I mean, they have had bad misses as well, but things like that just weren't going for them on the day. That was Sergio, though. He just came on as a substitute. This is the best chance, really, of the match for Dundee United. A good ball in there from Winters, and really, you've got to hit the target there. I mean, you're 12 yards out, and to miss-kick it like that is a tragedy. And that's what's cost Dundee United all season. This sums him up. I think Jock said that in the comment. This actually sums up the whole of Dundee United season. David Craig's done all the hard work there. He's gone into the goalkeeper. And really, that's a bad miss. You know the players in front of you, and Hannah's just got to lift it over the top when it's in the net, but for them it wasn't to be.
Yeah. Just a brief word, the sending off of Chris Daly near the end. No argument about his sending off, but maybe Pierre Van Hooydonk should have gone too.
Well, it was 2 men involved again, wasn't it? Now, we're now talking about 30 seconds of the match left. It's the last game of the season. Dundee United are down anyway. The referee, you've got to think. I mean, the common sense rule for me, but he sent him off. Disappointing again, isn't it?
The Celtic goal, well taken, but a bad mistake by David Craig, which he won't need reminding
It's
of.
the inexperience again we're talking out at the back. There's no Welsh or Petric here. You wouldn't have thought they would lose a goal like that. Just a punt up the field there. Van Hooydonk does well there to get by Daly. And David Craig gets caught there. I mean, it's a thing you can't do. You're the last man. You can't get caught with the ball at your feet there. Phil O'Donnell does well. I mean, that's a great finish. You can't fault the finish. But the youngster's inexperience there. I mean, he's done everything right. He's read that well. He just cleared it there. He just tried to be constructive and do it, but he get caught out. And Phil O'Donnell, a couple of strides and sticks it in. And that's a marvellous goal as far as they're concerned.
Yeah. From Celtic's point of view, they have the Cup final to look forward to, obviously. They're off to Italy to prepare for that. But I think Tommy must be concerned about the fact his team still aren't scoring enough goals.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. They're creating chances. That's a good thing for Tommy. If you're not creating chances, then you've got to worry. But they are creating them in the games. And I think against a club like Airdrie, if you won't get many chances because they'll have plenty of men back behind the ball. And if you don't take your chances, then you're going to struggle.
Yeah. And Brian McLaughlin, tricky player, beats men, but he doesn't hurt teams enough, does he?
Tommy said it all there, and we've said it on this programme before. I mean, he does well, he can beat men easy, he floats by them, but it's in the last third of the park where things matter. Whether it's a good cross into the box or a shot, it's got to be there. And he's a young man, he's a young lad just come in this season. I think he's had a marvellous season, but he could be such a better player. He knows he'll work on that. It'll come when he scores a goal. Tommy's right, once he gets his first goal, that'll give him the confidence. But I think he's got to work on in the last third of the park. And this is a great chance. Van Hooydonk, again, we keep saying it, he's not the greatest player in the air, but really should be hitting the target with crosses like that. I mean, he's chested it down, he's done everything right. Look at that over the bar, you've got to hit the target.
All right, well, we'll get plenty of chance to talk about Celtic in that Cup final in a couple of weeks' time, but in fact you now have a chance to go